How can you ensure that your team gets the most out of your CRM investment? Let's explore onboarding, adoption, and customization strategies of one Insightly customer in this episode of Closing Time. Thanks so much for tuning into Closing Time, the show for go-to-market leaders. I'm Melinda Prescher, Senior Director of Product and Customer Marketing at Insightly CRM and Unbounce. Today, I have the pleasure of hosting another special Customer Spotlight edition of Closing Time. Please welcome our guest, Anastasia Dorsheimer of Buffalo Computer Graphics. Welcome to the show, Anastasia.
Hi, Melinda. Great to be here.
Anastasia, to kick things off, please tell us a little bit about Buffalo Computer Graphics and how you got started with Insightly.
BCG is a small technical engineering company. We've been operating since about 1982. We've been building a legacy in kind of three areas: incident and emergency management software, maritime software and hardware, and that's maritime simulation software and hardware, and then custom engineering industries. We got started with Insightly when I was tasked with the project to find a new CRM system. Our previous system was really kind of at end of life, and there wasn't great adoption of the system as well. So it was really not an effective tool for our teams. I couldn't just really dive into finding replacement software, but I had to first kind of understand the challenges of regarding usage and adoption first, because a tool is only as good as it's adopted and used by the teams that use it with that. So I kind of jumped in and did operational analysis of the stakeholders and who were essential kind of in our full customer cycle, really listen to them, understand their process, the pain points that they were having, while kind of identifying some gaps and some core functions that we needed. I then collated all that information and began searching for a tool that would be a good match for a small company. We're in a really niche industry and we're very project management focused operationally. So I needed a tool that would be a centralized information hub for multiple teams to use. And we needed much more reporting and data visualization than we had with our previous tool. We really, really love dashboards and metrics here. So that was definitely one of our focuses. Additionally, part of my job is that I co-lead information security at BCG. So data security is always an important factor when I have to look at a choice of software vendors.
What led you to choose Insightly?
When I started researching CRMs with the features and security that I was looking for, Insightly checked a lot of boxes we were looking for. Also in budget that was digestible for my executives. So it quickly rose to the top of our options with ease of use, the robust library of support documents, YouTube videos, along with the out-of-box features included, and the customizability. When we decided Insightly was our top choice, we started exploring the additional tools that come with the Insightly CRM or around the CRM that Insightly provides. We're a small company, so having tools that interface with each other helps streamline task load, and it's always a good thing. So in the end, we decided to go with Insightly All-in-One, which has the marketing, the CRM, App Connect, and CSM in one package.
Fantastic. So I'd really love for you to share more about how Insightly has helped you grow.
So it was really important to me and for the rest of the team that we were working with a company and a tool that understood the larger project that we were trying to achieve when we partnered with them. Since our prior CRM was not an effective tool for us, we were essentially starting from scratch. We were building new SOPs around the software as well. At the same time, we were kind of configuring things with Insightly. I appreciated, and I really still appreciate, that Insightly did discernment with us regarding what goals we were trying to achieve with implementation of the system, and really dug into identifying our workflows, our automation, the configuration values that were important to us. In the emergency management side of the business, we have a similar approach with our customers when we onboard them for our software. So working with a company that had similar values regarding working for their customers, successful adoption was kind of really refreshing for us.
So Anastasia, I'd love to have you do a little bit of a deeper dive on customization and the impact that it's had on your business.
I could probably talk about customization for this entire podcast and my love of the customizability and the ease to achieve that customization, but I'll try to keep it condensed for the listener with this. We were able to take the base out-of-box tools and really make them our own. I need to give a special shout out here to our Insightly team, Josh, Angie, Aaron, and Joanna, who have been instrumental in guiding, advising, teaching us during the onboarding, go live process, and post go live as well. We shaped the objects and fields and automation much more to suit the needs of the various processes and flows that flow through the different type of workflows in our business. One of the challenges of finding a good CRM for us is that we don't approach sales in the maybe same traditional way that other companies do. A lot of our sales come through RFP bids, which come through a variety of different procurement portals, purchase platforms like GSA. And most of our customers are local, county or federal government that also require understanding grant funding requirements, government compliance requirements, government security requirements, and a variety of disaster recovery requirements, to name a few. This is a lot of varying details to capture per customer to track and know with that. So the ability to be able to customize and really build fields in that allowed us to put the data in that we needed that's important to our customer and sales flow was really essential. So we built a variety of pipelines in both leads, opportunities, and projects, along with some tasking and automation to make sure that we captured these necessary details and that stakeholders had customer touch points, the details that are part of successful execution for the variety of workflows that we do with that. That idea of that central hub means that it doesn't matter where the stakeholder or one of our team members is talking to a customer in the cycle. It could be a project manager, it could be me. We can look in the CRM, kind of get that summary and those key details that we need to know, where the last touch point was, who they last talked to, what's kind of going on, and get the temperature of where things are with the customer, so that when we're interacting with them, we have all the necessary knowledge. It's quite often that a customer doesn't, think, hey, I'm not talking to a customer support representative, I'm talking to contracts, but I'm still going to ask that customer support question, right? They're like, I just see that I'm talking to someone at BCG. So being able to do that helps us just universally, wherever you are and whatever position and role you play in the company, that you are prepared to talk to the customer and we can give them the best service possible. So one of the really exciting things for us is that through App Connect, we are also working to integrate our own internally used version of incident and emergency management product called DLAN. Most people know it as DLAN. The full name is Disasterland, but everyone calls it DLAN for short. And so we use our own product internally for our own various operations, from development to bug tracking to some of the customer support tracking that we did. So being able to pull some of that information in that we do in those other systems to have both of our CRM and CSM tools exchange that information is going to be really beneficial. And we were really excited when we talked to the Insightly team about that opportunity. So we're working on some of the API stuff that we need to do on our side. So it's more of a longer term project, but it's really cool that we have the ability to work with Insightly and our own product together in a partnership so that we can long-term better serve our customers.
I really appreciate the fact that you gave a nice shout out to our team, because I think our team is really strong, especially in the areas of adoption and onboarding. And so I'd love to hear more from you about how you develop energy around those processes, so the teams are really set and ready to pick up what they need to do to get information into the CRM.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love the team. So for us, as we really started to prepare this process, I started with really listening to our stakeholders who were tapped to use the tools. It was key to understanding the operations that flow into those pipelines and the workflows, and then the human resource bandwidth for those who need to provide the inputs necessary to make them successful. Successful adoption of anything requires the people involved to find value in the tool, get value out of the tool, and then agree to invest their time. They also need to agree to giving time for new standard operations, processes, and changes to show improved outputs. It doesn't happen in a moment. A lot of benefits, it takes a little time with this. And lastly, because we are a small team, I need to be respectful and aware of the time and availability that people have with their current workload. So I had to be really targeted and cognizant of that. We juggle a lot of hats here. We have hardworking people, and that their time is really valuable. So our CRM team, which is a joint connection between the contracting team and the services team, worked diligently to make sure that configuration and customization choices were done with the consultation and feedback of the teams involved in the processes and those cycle steps. And I'm also really grateful that I have a great bunch of coworkers who invested their time in this project and gave their time and talent to make it happen. It would be impossible if they didn't have that agreement and give their energy to this. On top of that, Insightly has been a great partner with helping guide us through the process, listening to our questions when we needed some facilitation on approach, and helping us problem solve. We were building this essentially from scratch, and because we are a small company and some of the pieces like marketing and CSM were never really formalized because we are smaller, so we're growing into this new thing. So it was really helpful to be able to bounce ideas off of them, hear kind of what are the best practices for these, really with that. And then the last step to successful adoption is training and support. So I'm a former trainer, so I really know how important good training and then follow-up support after that training is really successful for anybody to kind of gain a skill or knowledge with that. So after kind of Insightly trained our core admins, including myself, we then set up internal training classes with our teams to walk them through, the system. And we did this all in a series of multiple training sessions with specific topics. So depending on what your piece to the CRM or the whole Insightly all-in-one, whether you're working on the marketing piece, whether you're working on the CRM, whether you're working on the CSM, we kind of really broke it up into what does this mean to you, to make sure that, if they wanted the general information of how all the bells and whistles looked, we'll absolutely get that. But really, we wanted to target focus of this is what we would like you to contribute to this and understand how to do that. So Kim, who works with my little department of two, there's only two of us in this little contracts and compliance department. She has been quintessential to the success of this adoption. So she's also a trainer. We've worked together at a different company as well. And she really spearheaded training, managed most of the configuration and work that we did on our side, and has been really tenacious about collecting feedback, providing additional training to people who may need some extra support, and help collect, Q&A as needed. So she is really our Insightly specialist. I'm second in command when it comes to that, but I could not, talk about the success of this project without really giving her a shout out as being a superstar who drove this project. And on top of that, she also created this amazing internal library of help and operational process documents, which is a lot of what we do in our lane is write a lot of operational documents for the company. And she, in this beautiful library she built out, it has like links to, our own kind of internal process documents that are necessary for the customizations that we put into the system that are probably not the standard things, but also has links to Insightly's help desk, YouTube channel, and of course, the podcast.
I love it. And I love hearing how thoughtful you all were about making sure that people knew what was in it for them, essentially. And then also your points about how you're really thinking about the future and how Insightly can help you build and grow as you continue to build your business and build your processes around Insightly. I think all of that is really important. And those are two really key call outs here. All right, Anastasia, that's all the time that we have for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if our audience has any other questions about your company, where can they find you?
They can find us at buffalocomputergraphics.com.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again so much. Your insights were really incredible.
Well, thank you for the conversation, and thanks for having me, Melinda.
And thanks to everyone for tuning in today. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We'll see you next time on Closing Time.